Alright, what's up everybody, this is Sam from Zrodder MMA Bet. In this video I'll be doing my card predictions for PFL 3, Ferreira versus Werdum. This video will be divided as follows. First I'll talk about all my picks and bets and onto the breakdowns, and if you wish to support this channel, stick until the end, I'll show you how. Alright, so before starting, if you don't follow me yet on Instagram, feel free to start following. I put my bets there prior to the videos. So these are the bets that I'm taking, so if you're following me early, you can catch them early. Alright, so feel free to start following me. So in general, I have my spreadsheet and I showed the results from previous times. You know, I won't do in this video, just try to make it a little bit more compact. And I'm also gonna just talk about from topology, then I'll show you my breakdowns, right? So between Helena, Kolesnyk versus Taylor Guardado, I'm going Kolesnyk. I think this is probably the best bet of the card, at least the one. This one between this one and the next one, which is Denis Goltsov versus Justin Willis. Quite tricky bet, quite tricky fight to call and to bet. I'm going Willis, you know. I'm thinking that he can show up and you know, do a good job there. So my pick is Helena Kolesnyk, then Justin Willis, and I'm betting these two. Then Genah Fabian versus Sanchez. I'm picking and betting Fabian. Cindy Dandois versus Kaitlin Young. I'm picking and betting Young. And then Julija versus Brian. I forgot his Bernardo Capelosa. I haven't gone through this fight. I'm picking the Julija just because of the record. Larissa Pacheco versus Julija Pajic. I'm picking Pacheco, but gonna be betting Pajic. Show you guys why. Mohammed Usman versus Sayles. I'm picking Usman, but I'm not betting the fight. Kayla Harrison versus Mariana Moraes. I'm picking Harrison, but not betting the fight. Werdum versus Ferreira. It's a tricky one. I'm picking Werdum, but not gonna be betting the fight. Alright, so on to the breakdowns as we spoke. It's not in order of the card, right, guys? So just so you guys know my thoughts here. So between Usman versus Sayles, it's a tricky one, guys. I found only a single footage on Usman. Sayles, we can find more, like a couple of footage, a couple of videos on him. It's a tricky one, guys. Usman is still developing fighter. He's just basically, for now, from what I've seen, muscular guy, powerful, strong, big. Tries to take guys down and hammer them. That's what he does. He's gonna probably try to do this against Sayles. Sayles is a big dude himself, you know. Probably he's even bigger than Usman. Usman is probably 6'2 or 6'3. Sayles is 6'5, pretty big guy. But he's not the fastest, not the most athletic guy. He's quite slow actually, but has a decent technique. You know, can throw some straight shots, some takedowns. But still, I think gonna be basically Usman use versus Sayles. You know, trying to win the fight. I think it's gonna be tricky for Sayles because even though he's a big guy, I think gonna be a big size and not size, but a big strength and power discrepancy in favor of Usman. So the pick is Usman, but I'm not gonna be betting this. I think it's quite tricky to bet. I think the best is stay out of this fight. Sanchez versus Genah Fabian or Fabian. Yeah, this is also an interesting one. Both of these girls are super tall, 6 foot tall. I don't know, actually Fabian, there are so many information out there. Some people say it's 5'9", others 6 foot, or they're 5'11". So I think she's 6 feet tall, sorry, because she looks so tall, you know, and close to her teammates in the city kickboxing. I think she's the better fighter, you know, guys, because she's a little bit stronger, at least she looks like. Better straight shots, you know, has more power. Sanchez is a good striker herself, you know, has good awareness with the straight shots, with the knees. She knows how to use her range quite well. But if the measurements are right, so it's it should be fairly even, the reach, you know, and the height. I think Fabian is a little bit more technical on the feet. She also has fought better competition, so I'm just using these factors to judge because there is not much, you know, footage on them because they have 3 fights between them, you know, or at least what I've seen. I think Sanchez actually, it's sort of weird because she carries her chin quite up, and I'm quite curious to see if she has a good chin or not, because I saw one bout she got caught by a very short left hook, which was, you know, girl was pulling back, was not much power there, and she got dropped. So I think Fabian also is a little bit tougher, has the better chin. So I'm going Fabian. I'm putting her in some. I'm betting her a little bit, and I'll show you guys how much. Taylor Guardado versus Helena Kolesnyk. I think Kolesnyk is a little bit better, well-rounded, guys. Bigger, looks stronger to me, tougher. Guardado, she looks well-rounded. I know she has a good amateur record, like 10-1. She fought some big names of the UFC. But it was like 2011. I don't think that anybody was at the level they are now, you know. And women's MMA back then was pretty unknown, you know. And girls pretty much were starting. So it was quite weird, even though she has a good record, and she was 10 years younger, so it's quite tricky here. Kolesnyk is not too young herself, probably she's 30 years old or something. But again, I think she's bigger, she's a little bit better. I like what she does from her back, even though she can get out grappled. She has a good ground game, whereas Guardado has basically not a bad double leg, but I don't know, she doesn't have a good top game from my eyes, you know. So I think Kolesnyk is a small favorite here. I'm picking and betting her. She's a plus 110 dog when I bet her, so I think there's good value there. Probably is the best bet of the card, but there's a caveat here. Both of these girls in a long layoff, so be careful with all of this, because you cannot trust basically anybody so far, you know. Yeah, so between Sandy Dandois versus Kaitlin Young, this I did the stars here. I decided to put it here. So Dandois, everybody knows that she basically has no striking. When she moves forward, she tries to throw some hands to get inside. I'm giving her 2 stars, just to try to be generous to her, but defensively she's pretty bad. Chin is up, doesn't block anything, gets hit with everything. She's a pretty good grappler. Her problem is the wrestling. She only goes for arm and head throws, you know, tries scarf holds. But it's quite tough to deal her from her back. She has good submissions, you know, like lock, some chaining techniques. She doesn't have much of a game plan. She basically does everything as she always does. She's a quite tough and big girl though. Young is a good striker, you know, at least for women's MMA. Good straight shots, you know, good feints, not bad power. She knows, I'm giving her 3 stars on the defensive grappling just because I think she probably fares that in average as a PFL lightweight woman. She's not easy to hold down. She knows how to, you know, spring back up. She has a good guard, so I'm giving her 3 stars. She can escape. Her problem is that she uses it to give the back way too much. Let's see what she's gonna do here. And if she gives the back, then Dandois is not the fastest girl out there, so she can even escape if she gives the back. And she's a little bit better with the game plan. She's a quite tough girl herself. I'm picking Young by round 2 TKO. She should be able to, you know, hit and run most of the time. Dandois probably gonna close the gap, start hitting shots. It'll be interesting to see if Young can actually stop the takedown. Probably she can't, but I think she's somehow gonna escape, you know, just by being tough and start landing on Dandois. But Dandois can win if she can get to the clinch and push her down as she always does with everybody. It's quite difficult to tell, guys, if Young gonna stop that or not, because I mean, it's she's in a long layoff too, you know, so it's quite weird, you know. She has also 10 losses, so we cannot trust Young too much, I guess, you know. But I haven't gone through all the videos that she on her career, you know, so I just feel that Young has more chances to win because, you know, she can just hit and run, and she has a decent power, so there is some small value on a bet on her. That's why I took this bet. But yeah, again, be careful. Dandois gonna push forward, gonna try what she always tries, and has a chance, right? Yeah, these are made my calculations here, guys. So you can see that I actually have Young not such a strong favorite as the bookies have, but there's a variance here, so I guess that's quite a decent bet. The Young at minus 200, but we'll see. You know, if you like Dandois, maybe submission or even decision is not a bad idea. You know, I think Young by KO would be a very interesting bet, but I'm not sure they don't have prop bets there. On to the next fight, Denis Goltsov versus Justin Willis. Another interesting one. Goltsov is a very experienced guy, has over 30 fights. Pretty decently all around, good straight shots, you know, good clinch game. Not bad from his back, you know. The problem is that Goltsov doesn't have the best output out there. He kind of keeps standing with the other guys in the mirror. Kind of waits until the opportunity presents, so he doesn't have the best output, even though he's a good fighter like I'm putting here, you know. I like his grappling a little bit. Justin Willis, you know, he's been cut from the UFC in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, but this guy, when he was fighting, he was a pretty good fighter, you know. He has a notable win against Mark Hunt. He used his jab pretty well there, straight shots. To me, he fared quite decently against Curtis Blades, even though he got taken down a lot and controlled. The initial defense was pretty good. He's also shown to be a very tough guy. You know, it's not easy to finish him. Curtis Blades tried, laid a heavy on him, tried to submit him. Willis proved to be tough, so I'm giving credit to him on this regard, you know, being tough. So I don't know, guys. Willis, he's on 3-year layoff. You don't know if he's training. You don't know anything about him. You know, I mean, rather than on the training part, whether he's really committing to his career again. But this guy has potential, you know, and he's the more athletic guy here. Even though Goltsov looks more athletic, Willis, despite not having the most athletic body, at least by the look of it, he has he's faster, he's more athletic, he definitely has the better chin and the better output. That's why I think Willis can win here. Goltsov doesn't have the best offensive wrestling. I think Willis can stop that if he comes ready, and he can get back up if he doesn't stop the wrestling right away, you know, and then he can outstrike Goltsov just by using more volume. Basically, that's what I'm predicting here. So I'm going Willis by decision. I like a bet on Willis because I have him at minus 125 favorites. He's at plus 170 dogs, so there's value there in my opinion. And I'm taking the bet on Willis, you know. But again, Willis has to show up. If he's not training, obviously, he probably gonna lose this fight, right? So disregard here. This is wrong. The pick is Willis by decision. And these are my calculations here. So I have Willis as a small favorite. Could go either way by my calculations. Goltsov has more chances on a submission, you know, because it's going to be very tough to KO Willis. And Willis, to me, he wins a decision, but not bad Willis by KO as well. So if you find prop bets, take a look at this. Larissa Pacheco versus Julija Pajic, or Pajic. This is a tricky one, in my opinion. Pacheco, she's a girl that, she's the well-known girl. She has experience, she has a good ground game, you know, she has good striking. But she's fighting Julija Pajic, that's known for her striking. Probably she's not known, you know. I think that's why basically nobody's trusting her here, because she's unknown. She has good striking, guys. Actually, I could have pulled up the video that I found on her. Just Google her name if you're willing to, and try to take a look on the video. She fights very well behind the 1-2. She manages the distance pretty well. She has good straight punches. She has decent power, you know, she's a long girl, and she manages distance pretty well, you know, and she has 2 submissions in her record, 2 wins by submission or 1 win, I don't know. So it tells me that at least she has some ground game, you know, or at least so maybe she can survive against Pacheco. Pacheco should be able to shoot right off the bat. We're gonna try to submit her probably. I think gonna be interesting to see if Pajic can actually stop that or get back up and start making a striking match. If she does, I think she is arguably the favorite because she has decent hands, like I told you guys. She's tall, she's long, you know, and I'm curious in this fight, you know. I think Pacheco at what she's now, minus 400, minus 500, it's just too much. You know, even though I think she's a small favorite, and as I'm putting here, there's a big range because I don't know what Pajic gonna bring to the cage, and I know that she has potential. That's why I put this wide range here. You know, so to me, Pajic could be even the favorite if she can stuff the takedowns and keep it standing. Or Larissa brings the wrong game plan. You never know. You know, when she fought the UFC, she was not the best fighter. I don't know, guys. I'm quite curious, but Pacheco, she's a strong girl. You know, if you see her Instagram, she's weightlifting a bench press 80 kilos, which is pretty impressive. It's like, what, weighing 80 pounds, something like this, you know. Please. I'm impressed by that. I cannot weightlift that, and she can, you know, being 150, 155 pounds. So it's pretty impressive, but her strength, but still, let's see what's going to happen here, guys. And these are my calculations. I have Pajic as an underdog, but not as much as the bookies have. If I can bet Pajic by decision, I would like to, even by TKO, because the shots come straight, you know. I don't know, to me, there is value on Pajic rather than Pacheco, right? So Fabricio Werdum versus Renan Ferreira. My problem is that I couldn't find footage on Ferreira because I don't have the LFA bouts available to me. You know, Fight Pass doesn't work in Brazil, and I couldn't find those videos. Everybody knows about Werdum, what he does. He has a decent striking, you know, does that pretty well because he uses well. He has good time, he has massive experience, and he has the ground game. Ferreira probably has some ground game. He trains with the Nogueira brothers. He has submissions under his record, but he's probably gonna want to keep standing. This guy is very tall, 6'8" against 6'4" in Werdum. He's probably very long. Actually, he's very long. He has like 8'3" inches reach. So this guy striking should be the favorite. He's also 30 years old only, you know, for a heavyweight. So he's very young. So probably if you're gonna force me, I'm gonna bet Ferreira, but I decided to pass on this one, just not to take a blind bet, because I know that Werdum gonna shoot his single leg and leg trip right off the bat. I don't know if Renan gonna be able to stand that, you know, because I haven't seen, you know, how athletic, how strong Renan is, so I want to pass on that. I think it's the best way to go. Alright, so guys, thanks for watching. If you wish to support the channel, let me show you why. Actually, let me show you before the bets that I'm taking on this one. Actually, in general, I hide this column, but since this event is pretty small, I'm betting pretty small. Here are the bets that I'm taking on this card. So it's Julija Pajic for 0.17 units. I'm trying to profit 1 unit here, see if I somehow get lucky. It's more like a lucky bet. Let's see if she comes through. Carlson Harris with Justin Willis, so I'm mixing PFL and the UFC. Pachic versus Kaitlin Young, I'm playing 0.1, so tiny bet there. Justin Willis and Kaitlin Young. Justin Willis for 0.12. Willis plus Kolesnyk, 0.11. Genah Fabian versus Kaitlin Young, 0.14. Helena Kolesnyk, Genah Fabian. Kaitlin Young, 0.14. And then Helena Kolesnyk in a straight bet. As you guys see, you know, I talk about quite confident on Kolesnyk, you know, some confidence on Justin Willis, but still, guys, the bets are very small because it's difficult to trust, you know, all of this. As much of these fighters, they're in a long layoff, or at least they're very inexperienced. All right, so if you'd like to support me, I have 3 tiers, 10, 15, and 50. For the early releases, it's $10. I'm also gonna put soon the lock of the night for this $10 tier. 15 for the 10 plus the prop bets, and 50 it's line by line all the bets that I'm taking, such as you guys see here. Here I filtered and hide and hit the other events, but I have basically for, you know, all upcoming events. I can show you guys from the past, you know. Let's just take the last a week as an example. I had a small loss between PFL, boxing, and the UFC. Sorry, I got the wrong column here. So where is it here? It starts here. Alright, so yeah, I lost 1 unit because I was profitable in PFL. Then the boxing, I lost on this Muruti lane. Then the UFC, I think I broke even, so at the end was 1 unit loss. But for April, I was up, I think 4 units, and then let's see how May goes. So far I'm down 1 unit on May. Alright, so everything is transparent, there's nothing hidden here, guys. What this strategy is good at is consistency, you know. Since you guys are here with me, I hope the results from throughout the year, these are the profits that I had on January, February, and March in terms of unit size, and April, you know. And then May I'm down a little bit due to some losses on the last card. Alright, so guys, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like, subscribe, share with your friends, consider supporting the channel. Talk to you next time. This is Sam from Zolother Bet, bringing the best, most consistent and transparent betting strategy for you.